Hello chicos, chicas. Let's go to inside my headland, and my opponent is a liqourmark, which I have to say is a name I like a lot. And we are checking out the English reverse Rossolimo, in which line we actually do give up this bishop to ruin the pawn structure a little bit and to get into this very thematic f5, knight f6, castles, queen e8, queen h5, f4, bishop h3, knight g4, checkmate, attack. That's how this game is gonna go. Mark my words. If I get to play 10 moves in a row. Otherwise, we might have issues. Otherwise, we might have some issues. Bishop g5 is a way to play this, but it does sort of put a dent in this kingside attack plan. But overall, I don't really like white's position much in that setup. Now, this is another very typical plan, to bring the knight into the center like so. And I often am a bit lost against this. And sometimes I chuck in a random pawn sec here on f4 after knight c2 and then takes and then queen h5 just to pursue that attack. We might do that just to be a little bit fun and, you know, trying to play aggressive chess. And so they do this f4 business. The problem with this, that although it does, kill entirely my kingside attack, but this bishop has now very limited scope to work with on any of the diagonals. So we are going to push it in. And usually this pawn is now glued to d3, because if it were to move or take, then c4 becomes chronically weak, which is one of the main themes of this whole variation, which is why we do take this c3 knight, because for example, if they choose a pawn structure with d4 and after d6 this pawn no longer has a defender, and black very often has this Limzo Indian like setup with b6, bishop a6. Wow, I'm drawing arrows like Hickey baby, the one and only Hikaru. So knight a5, knight c4, winning that pawny. Rook b1, that is dealt with b6. b6 is a very useful move in these structures because it sort of secures the knight. It allows the bishop to come out this way as well. And this diagonal is really irrelevant because I don't want to take on d3 ever. And e4 is securely defended, so no worries. Our anticipated move is knight c2, against which I have no idea what I'm going to do. Hello? Okay, so I don't want to be too offensive, but this is a typical case of an amateur's mind where he goes like, "Ooh, that diagonal, I need, dude, there's nothing there. Like, you can't hurt me on this diagonal." Although the idea is quite impressive, which is that if I take this, he takes here. And if I were to take with the knight, then he has got queen d5 check. That I have to give them that's pretty cool. But overall, I am very, very doubtful about this operation. Then again, I should impress with my moves, not with my talk. Okay, so if g5, if bishop e6, he wants to go here, and if knight d7, he takes this. And then I go knight c5 takes, bishop takes, then we lose to queen d5 check again. Okay, so if I go king h8 g5, knight d7 take queen d5. Maybe the amateur's idea is brilliant. Okay, we need to take this a bit more seriously than I would have liked to. Okay, so if I take this, take... bishop here. That looks so loose, man. Okay, I'm gonna take this. And I was thinking about two things here. One of them was bishop e6. And the other one was bishop b7. And I'm not 100% which one to play, but at first sight, bishop b7 appears to be the safer one, because after bishop d7, bishop e6, he has e5, although on second inspection, bishop e6, e5, take, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, is looking like a very delicious exchange Saccarino. We did with something like bishop e6, e5, take, knight takes, bishop a8, queen a8, bishop f4, knight takes c4. And I might have some plans based on queen e4, bishop d5, and mate. I don't know, man. I like it. Let's go. We are here to have fun. We are here to have fun, so let's do this. The other reason why I dislike this move, by the way, because it sort of removed the tension from the e-pawn. So objectively speaking, against the Grandmaster, I think I would have played bishop b7. But I have to say that I vastly underestimated the value of the g4 move. I don't think it was particularly good, but when I saw it on the board, I thought it was just outright losing. And it certainly isn't. Not by my level, anyway. So, yeah. Mark Biernatsky, North Carolina State Champion, is our opponent. So, let's see how we go. The exchange sack is done. I mean, my opponent's pawn structure is quite amazing, having 5 isolated pawns. That must be some kind of world record. For sure. So I'm pretty happy with what's on the board. And now we start munching. If bishop f4, we have rook d8 or c5. I don't know which one is more accurate. Bishop g5, putting a lot of tension here. I'm not so happy to see that move, actually, but yeah. So if I go rook d8 now, that just pins myself. So let's just kick this queen out. Queen d3 is what I expect mostly. And I haven't made up my mind yet about how to meet that. Hello? And my opponent does not have takes backs on. Oh, that was a tragic, tragic story. Let's try a rematch. He says he mouse slipped. But I mean, yeah, whatever. It was a strange slip because he moved forward and all of the forward squares were done. Okay, Sicilian. Exciting times, baby. Exciting Sicilian times. Okay, are we getting knight in, bishop out, d6? Okay, so Sveshnikov. Unless he plays bishop b4, which is a terribly boring line. This one is just a bad line. I never understand why people play this. So the line goes with castles, bishop c7, bishop d6, and then he just gets really squashed on those dark squares. Yeah, please. I mean, irrespective of how I perform against this, do not play this line for the love of God. Like, this is just miserable. I just ask him, doesn't he find this utterly miserable? And he goes like, yeah. Okay. Okay, bro, whatever. I'm very tempted to play e5 here. I don't know how objectively good or bad that move is, but I can't resist it. Obviously, the problem is that after knight g6, I cannot play f4. So I have to play the very ugly rook here. But the idea is to try to secure, or rather fix is a better word, as many pawns as possible on white, considering that he has got this woeful bishop. If a6, I guess we jump in. Although then after knight takes, rook takes, knight g6, we are losing the pawn. Then again, I might have knight here, knight takes, knight b6. And that is a very suffocating blockade. Yeah, f4 was the alternative, but I didn't really fear that move as much because I feel like my pieces should be able to come out with bishop d3, a6, knight d6, knight takes, pawn takes, knight f5, bishop f5, and then this bishop is terrible. I really wanted to put, by the way, the bishop on e2, but then I think after knight g6 I would have had some problems with guarding e5. But yeah, I mean, there are so many beautiful lines in the Sicilian to play as black. Like even here, bishop b4, for example, is perfectly playable. But of course, one should always consider a proper main line. For example, the Sveshnikov here. Because the problem with this, without wanting to sound obnoxious, is that he's not challenging me here. He's giving me freely a much, much more comfortable position where I can just do whatever. So he's trying to breach, or actually he doesn't try to breach a 400 rating gap, and his idea about doing that is to purposely choose an inferior opening variation. And a lot of people do this in the spirit of, oh, I don't want to go into the main lines because they know it better than I do, yada. Yeah, whatever, man. Like the reason why it's called the main line, because if you do it, you are very safe in it. So a lot of people do this, but when they play against a higher rated opponent, they try to do something offbeat, hoping to surprise them. It's like, why would you think that that is gonna work? Like what you are doing is basically you are playing something that you know is inferior against someone who is a better player than you. Like that's two negatives. That's not gonna end well. That's how I see it. And I have always been very, very successful, by the way, when I was a up-and-coming junior, by just consistently playing mainline openings against higher-rated players. And they very often would fall into the reverse trap when a stronger player avoids main lines, thinking that they can trap the rookie. And I actually scored a fair few upsets in my youth because my opening understanding was pretty good rather early on, and they would play some substandard stuff which they knew it was substandard, and Yeah, there is no return once you embark on a questionable journey in terms of an opening. That can go, yeah, problematic very, very quickly. Textbook case to that, by the way, is my win against Lev Aronian, who was definitely not older than me, but he was a lot higher rated when we played, and yeah, he engaged with a variation that he probably shouldn't have. So the big question is that how do I improve on my position now? What is a move that makes my position better? I don't know if I want to do rook d2 in order to play g3, because I would really want him to take, but if he doesn't engage, I don't want to take him. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this, which will probably surprise a lot of you. The reason why I'm doing this move is to cut out this. But also b5 I find is probably a plan that is not really going to work out for him, because then I have bishop e4. And bishop d7 is not possible because this hangs. Otherwise I'm going to take the knight and bring in my knight. So what I'm saying is that he's going to run out of useful moves before I do. If that makes sense. So this is exactly what I was referring to. So now I'm going to trade next, thus eliminating his only sensible piece, and this miserable bishop is going to remain on the board. I don't want to blow my trumpet because it's a bit embarrassing that I did that, but there is a point in certain positions where you need to understand that doing nothing can yield a lot. And my students really struggle with this concept when they reach a certain level, which is about 2000 liches. When they look at this position and they go like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And they bump into walls. Like, I couldn't play knight e4 because this hangs. I could play g3 but couldn't because takes rook f2. I didn't want to play, and so the I could do this, and I often then tell them that, okay, stop this. What's your opponent's next move? Okay, well then let's have a look. What do you think your opponent's next move is? And when we look more deeply, we realize that in this position, black has nothing to do. Like, virtually nothing. This can go nowhere sensible. Rook f5 is out. This cannot develop without moving the b pawn, and b pawn moves lose to bishop e4, or at least fall into our plans. So now we have got something to grab onto. These two can't move, and the knight can't really go anywhere sensible. So now we have established that it doesn't matter if I can do anything or not, because I have got a lot of piece mobility. Even after a3, if he had done nothing, I could go b4, king b2, king b3, and so on. So I can play plenty of moves, he cannot. So now we do the trade, we penetrate. Actually, let me think before I get too cocky. Yeah, no, we go in. I just need to think what exactly I'm going to do after rook here, which is entirely forced. Knight e4 is one of my candidates, and if rook f5, then knight d2 with the idea of knight c4. And the point of that knight dance is that after knight e4, rook f5, knight d2, if he denies my knight c4 with b5, then I get to play knight b3, I thought. But maybe I'm wrong, because then he has c5 and I don't get to jump in. But maybe I get b4 in. b4, c5, knight b3, take, but then bishop b7 comes out. So I have to consider that or recalculate that. But for sure, knight e4 looks very, very appealing. Rook here. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't want the check. I don't want the check. Now, this looks I'm always quick to judge, but this looks terrible. Yeah. Actually, it is almost by forcing losing. So that, yeah, he had to play rook c7. That was a no-brainer. And the reason why this is losing is because knight a4. And he has got rook b8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack the bishop first. He needs to use his rook to defend it because the bishop has no moves without giving up a pawn. And now if I go here, he's just toast because now I get to take this. So take, and rook b5 is a bit of a pain, but this should be good. So let me just think for a second about what is the best way to win this rook ending. The clean one I'm thinking of is rook here, but I really want to make this work. The problem is that this rook becomes very active here. And we despise active rooks in a rook ending when it's our opponent's rook and not ours. So if now he goes g5, I have rook e4 followed by c4, and then I read out the rook. So now king f7, c4. And if the rook goes back instantly, I should switch back here and start hunting the pawns before his king gets really, really good. But yeah, this rook ending is still not a case closed scenario, so I need to respect it. Maybe rook a5 is a move? I thought I had b4, but of course it hangs this pawn. The problem with rook here is that it's begging to be trapped. So king c2, king here, king here, king here, king here, then rook takes e5. Although rook takes, king c5 is actually a winning pawn ending for me, right? Maybe I should not quite risk that. Because this rook is sealed here forever, right? So I can just go g4. Boy! Are we gonna win this rook? That's awesome! That is awesome! So now all I need to do is to cut this off. H5 is his only move. Maybe h3, g4, quite interestingly, is a cute pawn sacrifice. And then things are still... I don't know, maybe g4 was silly. I feel like there was a chance to trap this. Maybe king c2, king here. Oh, man. I don't know. But here he definitely has to go here. That's a no-brainer. Anything else loses, yes. Okay, so let me think about this one more time. So king here. That's actually no good. I mean, one thing I can do, which I didn't even realize, is that I can king here, king here, king here, king here, king here. Rook here, with the idea of rook takes check and pick off my rook, and then I just come back. And then I trap the rook. Wait, king here, king here, king here, king here, king here. If check, I drop back. Okay. Boy. This could be big. Unless I'm missing something childish. He's well and truly stuck. He is well and truly stuck. Haha, I'm loving this. So I pull the rook back here to be sure that I'm covering these in case he gets some fancy ideas about coming in here. And now we are going to go here to cut off the king's entry there. Then check. Oh, this is so good, man, because now I managed to shut the king off from coming to f5, and so now he cannot stop me going back from to here. He's going to actually resign here. Ah, bugger. Ah, man, I was just getting myself ready for the big finale. So now all I need to do is rook here, king back, and king traps the rook. That's so cool. That's so cool. So what he did really badly though here, and we must talk about this because, yeah, it's only fair if we are being honest with ourselves. King g4 was only move here. And then I'm still... then I have rook e3, right? Because if then king h3, I then go and trap the rook. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, like I said, the opening was rather miserable for black, and yeah, I have no idea why anyone would even have this as part of their repertoire. So please don't do that, folks. Bishop d3 was okay. Knight d4 is the engine's favorite, and here knight d4 again. So knight d6 is not really that good. But now this is golden. Oh, a3 second best move by the engine, baby. Now it goes to f3 or bishop e4 right away. Yeah, I didn't really consider bishop e4, knight takes, and then pick off the knight. But that was definitely on the cards. And now bishop e4, and according to the engine, it's already +4. Okay, so take. And here, let's say if we play it the rook ending correctly. Yes. Rook d6 here. Rook e4. Okay. So all good. And that's +6 now. g3 is the recommended move, but that's the same as g4. Take was correct. h3 is the engine's favorite. What I didn't like here... I don't have a brain. Oh no, I didn't like g4. That's right. Take, and then the engine still wants me to go here. But that's the same as what happened in the game, right? King f5, and here h3 would have been good too, according to the engine. Because the pawn ending is winning for me because of the outside passer. But I like my move more, because now he's just stuck. And that's it. That's it, and the engine approves. And now g4, and the rook falls off. That was cool. I really like the end of that game. On the other hand, the other one was... I'm not so sure. I went into that adventurous... exchange sack after his g4 move. I would like to just clarify what was happening here. I wanted to show you the analysis, but I can't. Not now anyway. Castles, knight by queen e8, f4, e4, rook b8, b6, g4, -4. So apparently I needed to take with the knight, takes, and check, and just king h8. Wowzers, man. I knew it was bad. And after queen takes, bishop f5. Hello? Takes. Rook takes. And if bishop takes here, apparently this endgame is so bad for white, it's -6. That's insane. Dead even material, and it's -6, like 2 pieces up. I mean, I totally get it. I'm feasting on all the pawns, and my pawn structure is beautifully intact. But boy, I did not see that. I did not see that at all. What I'm doing is dodgy. Bishop b7 was the correct move here, which I did say that against the GM I would play bishop b7, and black is clearly better. And even after bishop e6, I'm clearly better. But here I forgot to... I mean, rook d8, man. That's embarrassing, right? So I do not have any excuse for not seeing that. And this is still winning, though. So it's -2 still. Queen d4, knight c4, bishop g5, c5, and he mass slipped here. Queen d3 was what I anticipated here. And apparently after rook d8, we are totally winning this. And I guess the reason is because now the queen has no good squares. If he goes here, I can go here. If he goes back to c2, I can go to a3. And we are still dominating the board. It's -5. So actually it turns out that although I made a fair few mistakes in this game, but I never let the win slip. 3 mistakes. 0 inaccuracies, guys. 0 inaccuracies, 0 blunders. Just don't ask about the mistakes. So yeah, that was inside my head with a cheeky rook trap in the end. I hope you liked it, guys. And I shall be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.